Tomorrow, jury selection is scheduled to begin in St. Johns County for the trial of the teenager accused of murdering Tristyn Bailey nearly 2 years ago. Aiden Fucci, now 16, is charged with first-degree murder.
Tristyn's family realized she was not at home the morning of Mother's Day during breakfast. They searched the entire house for her, and then her mother frantically called 911 to report her missing.
Tristyn Bailey was born on January 18, 2008 in Florida to Forrest and Stacy Bailey. She was smart, talented, energetic, motivating, and youngest of 5 siblings. Tristyn was a student and cheerleader at Patriot Oaks Academy in St. Johns County. Her passion for cheerleading was evident through her participation in multiple cheerleading teams and competitions. She was known for her kindness and willingness to help her teammates, especially when they were injured. Tristyn's classmate, Aiden Fucci, was born on November 17, 2006 in Florida, and the only child to Jason Fucci and Crystal Smith. Aiden had a troubling childhood which stemmed from his father being accused of child abuse and neglect. Jason Fucci was also arrested for having an intimate relationship with a 15-year-old at his home in October 2003. He was on 2 years of probation in which he violated and was imprisoned for 14 months.
Now, other video released today shows who detectives believe are Fucci and Bailey walking in their neighborhood on the morning of May 9th, the last time Bailey was seen alive. Later that morning, a person who is believed to be Fucci is also seen returning to his home, wearing a sweatshirt and holding white shoes, matching the same description that was also caught on another home surveillance camera earlier that night.
While she was still missing, according to investigators' reports, Fucci changed his story with detectives at least once, ultimately saying he left a friend's house with Bailey the night before, that the two walked to her street in their Durbin Crossing neighborhood in St. Johns County, and that she tried to grab him, and he says he pushed her to the ground and she hit her head.
Fucci takes out his phone and he proceeds to take a Snapchat of himself with the caption, quote, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" And if that wasn't enough, he proceeds to take a video as well.
Having fun in a cop car.
Yep. Tristyn.
What's up, guys?
Yep.
Tristyn, if you walk out the damn, it's in a cop car, cuz. Tripping, dude.
Aiden tried to manipulate the police and others with the Snapchat video, joking about the condition of Tristyn, evidently showing no care, concern, sympathy, or empathy for his friend, assuming that the situation isn't severe. While implying that he had nothing to do with the circumstance, Aiden also betrayed a local drug dealer by telling the police that the dealer may have something to do with the whereabouts of Tristyn.
It was very shocking. It was not matching the situation for sure. But sometimes that can be a sign of mental illness when someone doesn't react in a normal way or the opposite way we would expect.
Fucci also suggested to investigators while Bailey was still missing that she may have gone to meet a drug dealer. Investigators later found that drug dealer and determined he had nothing to do with the murder case.
After all of this, Fucci's younger cousin was questioned by the police, and when investigators asked her about any odd behavior from Fucci, she stated that he once told her that he might go to jail sometime in his life.
Later that day, a jogger in the neighborhood found a young girl's body, bloody in the neighborhood's woods. The medical examiner's report released Wednesday indicates Bailey had been stabbed 114 times and had defensive wounds. That report also revealed the suspected weapon, a knife, was found in a pond only 140 feet from the body. The knife missing its tip, the tip found in Tristyn's scalp.
Later on that night, a conversation among Fucci and his parents was recorded at the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office.
They found this girl, right?
Where?
In our neighborhood, down our main street.
Is she good?
No, she's not. She's dead. That's why this is very important. It's all on you right now.
This is my problem.
You were
You
the
were
last
the
one.
last one seen with her. So right now, it's facing you right now, son. So however you talk, you breathe, you think, then you respond.
This is very serious, Aiden. You can't act like I don't know. I don't know. You can't, and you can't say nothing.
You understand this is serious? Clearly. You understand, right?
Everything you say will affect you.
That Snapchat that you did was not very smart.
Not good
either.
at all. Now we have people wanting to burn our house down and our cars down. Because of that Snapchat thing you did. It's all over. You're all over the internet and everywhere. Social media.
It is on social media. You'll probably come stay with me after we get done with this.
So not only do they interrogate him, but they find some other evidence. In fact, they search his bedroom and they find blood on some pieces of his clothing. And the blood was later tested and came up positive as Bailey's blood.
In the interrogation room, Aiden's mother, Crystal Smith, seemed worried, uneasy, and anxious about something. Not because of the severity of the crime and compassion for Tristyn Bailey, but for the possibility of something being revealed, and ultimately leading to the alleged result of the tragedy.
Smith gives Fucci a questioning look before nodding and whispering something. The warrant says she whispered, "blood."
According to investigators' reports, during a search warrant in Fucci's home, investigators found bloody clothes in his closet, as well as what is described as satanic images and violent drawings of women in his bedroom.
And not only that, apparently Fucci had told people that were around him, his friends, that he was planning to kill someone, and that if he were to kill someone, it was going to be planned, and that he would find a random person walking at night, drag them into the woods, and stab them.
Dozens of newly released documents give a glimpse into the conversations and interviews St. Johns County detectives had with Aiden Fucci's closest friends, including his 8th grade girlfriend. She told police he was planning to murder someone, detailing how he would do it. These conversations, she says, happen often between the two of them, and included Fucci even wanting to kill her. The girlfriend, who we are not naming, says Fucci wanted to run away, make people believe he was dead, and continue killing people. Fucci even named 2 of his knives, according to the girlfriend, Picker and Poker.
Aiden kept knives for protection. He always had a knife on him if he wasn't at school. He would keep his AirPods. He listened to music to try and calm him down. He said that helped him with his anger.
When you say he kept knives, was it usually a different knife? Did he have one that he was partial to that was like his favorite? Or
He had like a few. He didn't really say he had a favorite. He just had knives, and sometimes he'd bring one or another. Or
did he say any? Did he have? When you say knives, we're talking like
just like pocket knives.
Like folding pocket knives?
Yeah, like they would fold up.
Okay. If you had to describe any of them that you can remember, could you tell me about what they looked like?
Yeah. Well, there was mainly 2 that he would have on him, and it was one that his stepdad gave him. It was like a kind of gray, black, like army-looking one. It had a skull on it, maybe like an orange skull on it or something, and he called it Picker.
Okay.
Because it had, I guess, teeth. The knife had.
You mean like it had a serrated edge?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have any others that he kept normally?
There was another one. It was like yellow, and it was like it was made out of wood, I think. And he called that one.
Did it look like this?
Yeah.
Aiden Fucci, who's 14, is charged with stabbing a 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey, his classmate, to death in May in St. Johns County. He is being charged as an adult and has pleaded not guilty.
2 days later, Fucci appears in court.
And your name for the record, sir?
Showing a quieter version of himself as he learns he is charged in connection to Bailey's murder. Fucci runs his hands through his hair, blinks his eyes, and appears to hold back tears.
It could have hit him, and he's realizing the gravity of the situation. They could be tears for himself, that he's in trouble. It could be putting on an act. It's really hard to know until he's evaluated.
This court video shows him being indicted as an adult. as he's charged with first-degree murder. Showing little emotion, he only responds to the judge.
Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes, sir.
Wednesday's court video shows the most interesting version of Fucci. He mumbles about demons.
I won't let you demons. I won't let you demons take my soul. You demons will take my soul away. I won't let you demons steal my soul.
His demeanor completely different from the day he was in the patrol car.
Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder in which people interpret reality abnormally. It may result in some combination of hallucinations, delusions, and extremely disordered thinking and behavior that impairs daily functioning. A sociopath is someone with a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. Consistent behavior patterns in sociopaths include lack of empathy for others, impulsive behavior, attempting to control others with threats or aggression, and manipulation.
For a child to fake like that would be a pretty tall order.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit is indicative of a mental health inmate. Either he's putting on a show or he's a child who has gone crazy because of the circumstances.
By law, even the suggestion of mental incompetence requires that he be evaluated by a psychologist.
Fucci is being housed at the Duval County Jail while he awaits trial in St. Johns County. According to jail officials, on Christmas Day of 2021, officers used a taser to break up a fight between Fucci and another inmate. 1 month later, an inmate told officers that Fucci has been threatening inmates and said he would stab that inmate. The inmate said Fucci claimed, quote, "He's real because he stabbed a girl face to face and took her life."
Fucci extorted commissary items from inmates by using fear. There was an incident in January 2022 when officers attempted to obtain the commissary items that Fucci extorted. The report says he became highly agitated and made threats against the officers' lives. The 16-year-old Aiden Fucci refers to his jail cell as his bat cave a couple of times and often talks about playing video games on his tablet. In one message from Fucci to his father in August 2021, just a few months after the murder, he wrote, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to my bat cave and call y'all, so love you, bye. The tablet is about to die, it's at 7. And in early September, he wrote this to his mother. "I was playing Candy Crush, but I guess I ran out of lives." Fucci also told his mom he cannot play online games, only offline. A couple of days later, he texted his mom, "Playing Candy Crush, day going real slow. I guess no commissary came in, so I figure I'ma just play some Candy Crush."
Further into the investigation, detectives learned of Aiden's home having cameras. Upon obtaining the home footage, investigators observed despicable and heinous events.
So Aiden Fucci's mom is arrested on June 5th, 2021, just less than a month after the killings. Why? Well, she's arrested for tampering with evidence. She is accused of trying to clean Aiden's bloody clothes. How do they know that she may have done that? Well, Smith had security cameras installed in her home, and she's visibly seen going into Aiden's room, grabbing the bloody jeans and washing them. The blood on the jeans and in the sink tested positive for Bailey's blood. Now, I should tell you she was released on $25,000 bail shortly after being booked into jail. But tampering with evidence is a third-degree felony in Florida, and Sheriff Robert Hardwick said that Crystal Smith will, quote, be held responsible for her role in this case.
And again, this is the Fucci home security system. And it looks like they're taking some time right there near the bottom of the steps. Another little tyke walking around. And it looks like they're cleaning the floor, kind of where Mom was just walking. And I wonder what was on the floor there. Let's look at their body language a little bit. And, oh, wait, did she just
Pointing at the camera.
She just pointed at the camera. We've got a camera there. Oh,
again.
Yeah. Is that a little consciousness there, Brian? We just remembered we have an inside camera that is recording everything we're doing. And now I think we're looking for Crystal. And oh, here's another person. Not sure of his identity at this moment, but there's someone else kind of in that little back room. That's that little room where the jeans went, I think. I wonder what they're talking about. Another potential witness. All these people could be subpoenaed.
This case has devastated the entire community for months now, and you can see behind me a memorial is still up in her honor, covered in teal, her favorite color, with a cross that says, "Fly high, Tristyn Bailey."
They also located a notebook containing what were described as drawings of a violent nature. The drawings were described as having satanic elements, which included a pentagram and a nude female with what appeared to be blood coming from wounds. A lot will happen before this case goes to trial.
Evaluations are certainly going to happen here, psychological screenings and the like. Full analysis of this young man's background and environment will come into play.
With the horrible, overwhelming evidence, the dreadful behaviour of Aiden before, during and after the investigation, with the despicable conduct of Aiden's mom, Crystal Smith, Aiden Fucci makes a short statement to the judge.
And Mr. Fucci just wanted to make a short statement.
I just want to say how played I get it, that I'm sorry for the Bailey family and my family.
Okay. I'm sure that there'll be an opportunity, obviously, at sentencing hearing to speak again at that time, okay?
Yes, sir.
The one thing Aiden did right throughout this whole case was saving the Bailey family, friends, and the court system the time and atrocity of dealing with this tragedy through trial and plead guilty.
In his defense attorney's decision, she believes strongly that the defense attorney spoke with his family about, I don't know what the next move is, but it could be this, and that is to change the plea to guilty in order to possibly get a lighter or shorter sentence or shorter time in court. When that sentencing phase starts to happen, this situation with the change in saying, hey, I am pleading guilty to save the judicial system and to save Tristyn Bailey's family from going through a trial, please consider that, Judge, when you're making that sentence.
And we were going to begin to select a jury to conduct a trial for you. You understand that you have the right to that jury trial?
Yes, sir, I do.
And once I accept your plea today, there will not be a trial. We'll pass this matter off for sentencing, and you'll be giving up all of those rights that I just described.
I do, Your Honor.
At sentencing, astonishing and staggering testimony and impact statements were given, leaving attendees shocked and speechless. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. James William Fulcher details the horrific scene of the murder.
14 on the upper back and shoulders, 12 on the mid-back, and then 3 to the right lower back, right flank. Largely on the right arm and hand, 22 on the back of the right hand, wrist, and forearm, 17 on the front of the right arm, and then 10 on the left arm, scattered more on the left. Commonly seen in individuals as they're being stabbed or injured in an attempt to ward off the blade, protecting their torso, main body core with an extremity. 35 wounds, stab wounds and incised wounds, to the total of the head and neck region. The head has been shaved to best show the injuries. That is, all hairs removed from the scalp. And we have a conglomeration of 11 injuries, numbers, and every injury is numbered, every stab wound and incised wound is numbered. Numbers 23 to 33. The head has been shaved to best show the injuries. That is, all hairs removed from the scalp. And we have a conglomeration of 11 injuries, numbers, and every injury is numbered, every stab wound and incised wound is numbered. Numbers 23 to 33. There was a triangular gray metal fragment removed from the scalp underlying one of the wounds. Up close photo of wound numbered 31, which is one of the longer incised wounds. It shows a fishtail appearance at the posterior aspect, indicating to me that the blade was inserted in the skin and then twisted or repositioned at the posterior aspect of that wound.
Department of Juvenile Justice employee Dwayne Barton testifies on his encounters with Aiden Fucci.
The first initial visit, he appeared very anxious. He paced back and forth in the interview room, and he indicated he was hearing voices. Early, I would ask, are you currently taking any medications? And, they'll report. I'm taking lithium for, hearing voices or depression or bipolar, things of that nature.
And you have a lot of experience with DJJ, but you're not a psychologist, right?
I'm not.
Okay.
Psychologist Dr. Gregory Pritchard testifies about Aiden Fucci's unusual history.
A good place to start is with some of the things that were described by girlfriend Zoffie Bowman. Now, just as a context, Zoffie Bowman and Aiden Fucci had been dating since January or February of 2021. So multiple months, spent a lot of time together. Miss Bowman described that she and Mr. Fucci and some other peers, they were kind of into what she described as gore, what she described as horror, H-O-R-R-O-R. So they like to watch horror movies. They like to watch gory horror movies. That they all had what she described as dark humor. Her words were that Mr. Fucci talked about death and killing a lot. She gave a couple of examples when Mr. Fucci got really mad at her because she sent a picture of her in a photo with another guy that happened to be her sister's boyfriend or friend that was a boy. And she said that Mr. Fucci got extremely upset about this, and his reaction was to say he was going to kill that boy. She also gave an example of Zoffie Bowman asking Mr. Fucci, would you like to hang out with me and a couple of my guy friends? And she said that Mr. Fucci's response to that was to talk about how he was going to kill those two guy friends. This is important because there was a lot of this killing and death talk from Mr. Fucci that's unusual. And it was occurring outside of just the context of talking about gory movies, right? Sometimes that was the context. Other times it wasn't. Like the example of him saying he was going to kill these boys that she was around. In that same theme, she talked about, her words were that Mr. Fucci talked about wanting to kill her, and that he would sometimes do things to her like take his knife out and pretend to stab her, or walk up behind her and pretend to slit her throat. She also made a similar comment that I thought was significant, that Zoffie Bowman said, that's basically why Mr. Fucci no longer stayed at my house, because he talked about how easy it would be to kill me when I slept. So you see, this is going beyond just kind of this talk about gory movies. It's, I'm not sleeping at your house because you would be really easy to kill while you're sleeping. A really, really peculiar, unusual, rare kind of comment repeatedly made to one of Mr. Fucci's closest friends. It even goes beyond this, okay? So this is the thing that is, I think, most relevant, although the things I was talking about are relevant to this particular case, but the most relevant verbalizations by Mr. Fucci in the Tristyn Bailey murder was Zofie Bowman recalled Aiden Fucci telling her that, basically asking, what would you do if I really killed somebody? And then following that up with, expect me to kill somebody within this month.
Tristyn Bailey's family testifies.
114. This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure. The number of questions I have for Aiden Fucci surrounding that night plague my mind. Did she see you coming at her with the knife? Or did you stab her while she wasn't paying attention? Did she scream out for help? Or was she paralyzed with agony? Did she cry for my mother? Did she beg you to stop? Did you hear her lungs gargling with blood? Or did you see it in her face when she realized she could no longer breathe due to her collapsed lungs? What were her last words? Did you stay to watch her die? Or did you leave her there in agonizing pain as you ran away? This white stone represents my trust in people, which died the day that Aiden Fucci chose to kill my sister.
Since learning of your existence and the agony you inflicted upon my family, I have convinced myself you are something other than human. I refuse to use your name, to believe that you are a regular person. To believe that you are human would be to accept that the darkness that has marked my family could come from ordinary people, something which causes me to lose all hope. So I convinced myself you must be something less than human, and that people can still be good. But you are human. I add this stone for the hope and belief I had in people being good that died the day that Aiden Fucci murdered my sister.
For months, I have attempted to put pen to paper to express the magnitude of this catastrophe we face every second of every day. Yet every time I'm met with complete writer's block. Not the kind of writer's block where you have nothing to say, but the kind of writer's block where you cannot find words impactful enough to describe the devastation this has caused on my family. This white stone represents my loss in faith in our school systems to keep violent children away from the innocent. Please consider everything that he has done to our daughter and to our family. Aiden Fucci made a heinous decision on May 9th, 2021, and took the very life that I brought into this world. Please do not for 1 second think that he could be rehabilitated at any point. He is beyond saving. I'm going to be placing 2 rocks into this. This rock, this white stone, is for her sister, Sophia, who will never have the opportunity to be a big sister again, and you stole that from her. This last one is for me, and it represents everything that you have stolen from me. My words, my joy, my hope, my future, and my beautiful daughter.
He took Tristyn's life. He impacted all Tristyn's family for life. You've heard how he shattered the innocence of childhood, so many in our wonderful community, for their life and the lives of their children. He even damaged the sanctity of Mother's Day for so many, for their lives. Please, Your Honor, take this into consideration when you have to make your decision. Lastly, I want to place this rock. And this rock represents the loss to our family and the world for all of the good Tristyn would have done.
Aiden Fucci's grandmother, Deborah Spiewak, testifies.
Fucci and his family wrote apology letters to the judge and to Bailey's family, and for the first time, Since the start of the penalty phase, the teen showed some emotion, wiping his face and sniffling after his grandmother spoke.
So I want to say to the family, I'm so sorry. I wish I could change what happened. And we pray for you every day. I pray for you every day. I pray for my family every day. And I just hope that you find peace somewhere. And just know that he has a good family. We miss him. And we lost a child too.
You know, everybody knows the saying that pictures are worth 1,000 words, and that's very true. Even without the pictures, the testimony of Dr. Fulcher painted a picture of this crime alone. But I know you will never forget those photos. What those photos factually showed, and through Dr. Fulcher's testimony, is that there were 114 stab wounds. 49 of those were defensive. And then you see, and you've heard the other numbers here, 35 or more to her head and neck, and 29 throughout the rest of her body. To know and learn that she was conscious and alive for this attack. We know that, obviously, from at least 49 defensive wounds. She was fighting. The evidence related to each factor and why that evidence means that the court should, in this case with Aiden Fucci, impose a life sentence. Based on all of these factors, even after reviewing everything, the appropriate sentence for Aiden Fucci is still life.
After disturbing and unfathomable testimonies and heartfelt impact statements, Honorable Judge Harley Smith decides the fate of Aiden Fucci.
Tomorrow, a St. Johns County judge will sentence Aiden Fucci for the murder of Tristyn Bailey. Her family took the stand yesterday, calling Fucci a coward and a ruthless, unremorseful villain.
Sometimes family members hope or expect that whatever the sentence is, that somehow or another that's going to heal or provide closure. And I just want to warn you that it's not. It's not how it works. No matter what sentence this court imposes today, it cannot heal you. I cannot bring her back. I cannot provide a closure to this. It may close a chapter of this, but it will not close this for you. You still have a lot of healing to do. And I certainly am not going to take the place of any of your counselors or therapists. But my advice to you is simply this. Understand that the healing process takes time, and you have to move through the stages, and you have to allow each other to move through the stages at your own pace. Comfort each other, but understand that some of you may reach different phases of this healing process. Your daughter and your sister are obviously, her body is no longer present on this earth. However, her spirit lives on through each and every one of you. The fact that when you learned of her death, part of you died as well. What I would suggest is that you fill that void with her spirit and her life that certainly lives on through each and every one of you. Allow Bailey Sunday Fun Days to return to your home. Allow laughter to return to your home, because in depriving yourselves of that, frankly, you're continuing, it would continue to victimize Tristyn, because that's not what she would want. She would want that happiness and the laughter to return, and the joking between her siblings. That's what she would truly want. Mr. Fucci, having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I adjudicate you guilty of the premeditated first-degree murder of Tristyn Bailey. I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for a review of the sentence in 25 years.
The Bailey 7, as they're known, has had a lot of support since the beginning, 22 months ago. Today, their supporters stood by with shirts, ribbons, and signs. Tristyn Bailey strong.
We, together, with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, you're no longer the Bailey 7, you're the Bailey 927.
During the press conference, Tristyn Bailey's dad, Forrest, had some words for the Fucci family.
There were several apologies given from Aiden and some members of Aiden's family. Foremost to his grandmother, your apology on the stand really touched us. It was the first time anyone in your family had acknowledged it, and we feel for you as we could tell how much you are hurting. With respect to the apology letter from Aiden, from his behavior at court, at no point has his actions fell in line with the letter. With regard to Crystal Smith and her apology, as I mentioned before, there is an open case with her, so it's difficult to comment. The fact that we are continuing to have to go through the legal process makes the apology questionable. You've seen the videos from the home, you've seen the videos from the interrogation room. I would say if she's sorry, she can start by accepting responsibility.
Crystal Smith is facing up to 5 years in prison if she's convicted of felony evidence tampering. Jury selection for her trial was supposed to begin Monday, but now she's set to plead tomorrow afternoon in St. Johns County.
The nature of the underlying crime for which she was tampering with the evidence, one would think that some type of jail or prison would be appropriate.
All right, Ms. Smith, having entered a plea to the charge of tampering with evidence, I adjudicate you guilty. I sentence you to serve 5 years of probation with the following special condition. You must serve 30 days in the St. Johns County Jail. You have credit for 1 day that you've already served. You would be eligible for application of early termination only upon after completion of 3 years of your probation, as long as there have not been any violations and you have paid the standard court costs and fines plus $100 cost of investigation and $100 cost of prosecution to the state attorney's office.
Smith did not address the family, but her attorney, Matthew Kuchurgis, said Smith hopes her plea can help everyone begin to heal from the tragedy.
Aiden Fucci is now an inmate within the Florida Department of Corrections. Almost immediately after the 16-year-old was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Tristyn Bailey, Fucci was transferred to prison.
Teen killer is challenging his life sentence for the murder of his classmate. In a court filing yesterday, Aiden Fucci's attorney says the judge got it wrong when he allowed a psychologist to testify about Fucci's bad behavior behind bars. The filing asked a state appeals court to review the judge's decision.
It was a surprise even to us at how quickly Aiden Fucci was transferred to the prison in Suwannee County. The attorney I talked to said it can even take a couple of months for a prisoner to transfer, but now that he's in prison, the focus is where the case goes from here. And for the family of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey, their focus is honoring and remembering her legacy.
Tristyn, she was beauty. She was beautiful. She had a beautiful spirit, inside and out. She was selfless. She was amazing. Would you say she was amazing? She was always there for her friends. She was, again, selfless. She was always doing all these crazy things that everybody would wonder, how in the world is she pulling that off? So she was amazing. She was sassy. If you think about all the words that have come forth today, one of the major ones is how energetic and full of life that she was.
When you give somebody your thoughts and prayers, you are giving them everything that you can possibly give them. And for everybody who has done that, thank you. That's all you can say. There are no words to say. There are no words that will heal it. So all of the messages that poured in from people all over the place, they helped us.
We are forever changed as a family, but we will always be the Bailey 7. For now, I will follow what Tristyn has always said. Get it together. You got this, Mom. Always and forever, my cheerleader and my sweet baby girl.
1, 2, 3.
Where did this all begin? Was it an effect of bad parenting? Neglect? Was it his passion for horror movies? Gore? Is he a sociopath? A psycho? Will he be rehabilitated for society? Community? These questions will have to be answered in the future. Or was his future yesterday? Confiscated Dreams. Aiden Fucci.